We're at AirVenture 2023, and we've got Tyne Tomazic from Pipistrel here. He's going to give us a little background on the Pipistrel Velis, one of the few certified electric airplanes.
So here behind us is our Velis Electro. It's a two-seat, all-electric, battery-powered pilot trainer. It's certified in Europe with the European Agency for Safety in Aviation, actually for already 3 years. 100 of these aircraft are already flying out with flight schools and allowing people to come up to become pilots in a sustainable way. The aircraft flies completely with zero emissions, and it's actually very, very quiet. It fits what's otherwise a definition of a light sport aircraft. Gross weight is 1,320 pounds. You cruise around between 80 and 100 knots for roughly 1 hour. The aircraft is actually adjusted for a typical flight training or pilot training environment, where a lesson is anywhere between 45 and 55 minutes. So essentially, after you are done training, you'd be on the ground debriefing your student, and this is when the airplane is put to charge.
I was going to ask, how long would it take to recharge for another 55 minutes?
So the charger that comes along with the airplane is a mobile charger. You can connect it to a single, split, or three-phase socket. Essentially, 1 hour of charging delivers 1 hour of flight. And this is also a typical mission set that the aircraft was designed to do. Charging times are constantly improving, and there's also a new generation of chargers coming that need to be permanently wired, and this will allow the charging speed to increase.
One thing I'm curious about with the electric plane, one of the basic things you need to learn in flight training is how to land. And you might spend the entire lesson in the pattern just doing takeoffs and landings or touch and goes. I assume the high power settings for takeoffs consume more electricity. Do you know what the count would be of a reasonable number of takeoffs and landings that could be practiced?
So Velis Electro caters anywhere between 6 to 9 traffic patterns, so more than enough for a typical lesson. Yes, the high power phases, takeoffs, landing, go around, do consume the most power, but what's interesting is that electric drive allows you also to regenerate the power as you are descending. So as the propeller is windmilling, when you're idling or when you want to descend, there's some charge actually going back into the battery, which effectively extends your range. So electric aircraft do actually like going up and down, because some of the energy that you've consumed for the climb can actually be regenerated on the descent stage.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that it had the regeneration capability. Just how about availability of this airplane in the U.S., cost and wait times if a FBO wanted to get one in their fleet?
So the Velis Electro is available immediately also for the US. It would be registered under the experimental class for the time being, but the upcoming Mosaic rule, the draft was just published by the FAA last week, will welcome this aircraft, and hopefully this happens as early as next year, so that the same airplane as would be today registered into the experimental class, for lack of regulatory options, will be enabled to fly commercially and in a flight training environment.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about the Velis. Will it fly again here at Oshkosh?
Velis Electro flew Monday and Wednesday. Perhaps it'll fly on one of the remaining days. This is up to the EAA to decide, but we are of course welcome to support. This airplane is out here to deliver demos.
Okay, and for my viewers, I did get some video of the Velis flight yesterday. It was pretty impressive and incredibly quiet when it went by. And I'd like to thank Tyne.
Thank you.
As environmentally friendly as possible, and this together with the innovation in the world of electric aviation will make it a respectable player indeed.